All right, so students have been solving subtraction and addition decimal problems, especially with word problems that involve real-world situations such as saving money using coupons or calculating how much money a student has spent after going to the cafeteria. Examples include these right here. We had students create some problems. You may pause the video if you want to read any of them, but these are examples of problems that students had to create for homework, and this prepares them to understand the word problems that they will solve on their math test. So this is a video that's going to help your students out because it is giving all the explanations as to how to solve some of the more difficult problems on the test review that I assigned today. Math test is on Monday. All right, so the very first question I'm going to show you right here is an expression is shown. When they give you the statement, an expression shown, they will also usually ask a question underneath the expression, and it says, what is the value of the expression? This is the expression here, 18.35 plus 5.10 plus 0.9, or you can also read it as 18 and 35 hundredths plus 5 and 10 1/10 plus 0 and 9 tenths. Okay. So this is actually something that students kind of have trouble with because they forget how they should line up the different decimals because they're so used to seeing only two decimals that they need to add at a time. So I'm going to show you right here how to line it up perfectly. So first you will write down 18.35 because it's right there. Then I'm going to put the next decimal for this one right here, because this is where students have trouble. Just to make sure that I align the decimals when I'm adding, and I know that 5 has to be on the left, very left of the decimal, right is on the very right of the 1 is on the very right of the decimal, and then we have 0. And the last one is 0.9 or 9 tenths. Put the decimal down here. 0 is on the left of the decimal, and 9 is on the right. So this can sort of intimidate students because they see blank spaces when they're adding, even though it's lined up. I tell my students that even though there is no digit on the right, because there is nothing on the right is the same thing as having a 0 right there. So they shall do that. If there's nothing on the left, those are also zeros for the placeholder, basically. All right, so you just go straight down, add 5 plus 0, which is 5. 3 plus 1, which is 4. 4 plus 9, which is 13. And we regroup 13, the 1 goes up here. Got to add that 1 to 8, which is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. I just lost my voice for a second. And then we regroup again, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So the answer is 24 and 35 hundredths. All right, so let me show you guys number 4 because this is a word problem. Number 2 and 3 on the review are pretty easy and students have been getting them correct. You will see problems like this on the test. Adrian needs a journal that costs $2.98. She wants to also buy a clipboard that is $12.25. How much money does she need if she needs to buy both things? So this is when students have to determine, am I adding or subtracting? This can be difficult for those who have a harder time comprehending what they read. Sometimes math does involve reading, so this is where it kind of troubles some of our students. So it's asking us how much money does she need if she needs to buy both things. So both is already telling me I need to combine something together or put something together. Well, she wants to buy both things. How much money does she need? Oh, she wants to buy a journal that costs $2.98 and a clipboard that's $12.25. So it's asking us to add these together and to figure out how much money it is in total so she is prepared with the money that she needs. So I'm going to put it off to the side. $2.98, you just put it right here, and then you add $12.25. Now, for those of you, again, who like to write the bigger number on top, just always, because it's much easier to kind of keep track of aligning the decimals for some of our students, you may just write it like this. It's the same thing. With subtraction, you must have the bigger decimal on top because obviously you need to subtract something smaller from bigger. But with addition, it doesn't really matter. Hold on, someone knocked on my door. All right, sorry, coming back. So 8 plus 5 is 13. Regroup again. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. Don't forget my decimal point. Regroup. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. And the 1 goes straight down. And then because we're working with money, $15.23. All right. Oh, okay. So number 5 is a question that involves understanding models. Now, when we start going with multiplication and division with decimals, models are extremely crucial because that is what the test primarily focuses on. So for the parents and for students who think models are going to be useless, perhaps in the future you won't be using models, but in 5th grade standards they need to be able to understand models because questions like this with models will pop up. And we've been working on it in class, but those of you who still have trouble, this is something that is to be expected. So let's work on it together. This is number 5 on your review. And Jeffrey created a model to explain his solution to this expression. So 1.34 minus 0.8, 1 and 34 hundredths minus 0 and 8 tenths. So this square right here is supposed to be a flat. If you look up online base 10 blocks or base 10 manipulatives, you will be able to understand what these are if you're still having a hard time visualizing this. This is a flat, meaning there are 100 cubes inside of this square, okay? These rods here, okay, each one has 10 cubes inside. Within one flat, there are 10 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? Because each rod has 10 times 10 equals 100, it ends up equaling 100, which equals that flat. These are the little tiny cubes that make up each rod or make up 100 of these little cubes to make up a flat, okay? So basically they're representing 1.34 with these base 10 blocks. One whole block and 3 tenths, 1, 2, 3, and 4 hundredths, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 34 hundredths, okay? This is what's represented. Minus 0.8, so we're subtracting 8 tenths. Now, if you notice here, we only have 3 tenths and 4 hundredths here. I cannot simply take 8 tenths away from 3 tenths. It's like you can't take away what does not exist. So remember, when we're subtracting, we have to regroup, or when we're adding, we have to regroup. So I take away my whole flat, which is worth 10 of these. So I drew 10 of these right here. And then, because I have 10 tenths, I can subtract 8 tenths from 10, although I cannot subtract 8 from 3. So I crossed off 8 of the rods right here. Let me zoom in if I can. Okay? Okay? Let me just hold it. Oh my gosh. So those are the 8 that I just crossed off right here. Now, I have 2 tenths left, 3 tenths left, and 4 hundredths left. I need to add all of this together, and that gives me my answer. So that's 2 plus 3 tenths, which is 5 tenths, and 4 hundredths. So that is 54 hundredths, otherwise known as 0.54. Okay? So if I were to write this as an expression, they simply want me to do 1.34 minus 0.8 equals 0.54, because that's what's represented already with the model, okay? All right, so this is one of the last questions I have that are on the more difficult level of the test review and also for the real test. Zakai is running in a 6-mile race. The race goes through a forest for 0.64 of a mile and down a small hill for 0.2 of a mile. The last section of the race follows a highway. How far does Zakai have to run on the highway to reach the 6 miles for the rate? So you have to calculate, and then it says create an equation to show how the 3 sections equal 6 miles in total. And then I added a hint right here. Calculate the miles he already ran first. So here, let me show you. All right, so since there is 6 miles in total, and he already ran this much right here, we need to figure out how much he runs on the highway because in total he needs to run 6 miles. So right here, we add, same thing as that. Okay, and then we still need to reach 6 miles, so this is what we end up doing. 6 is the same thing as 6.0 because that is 6 whole miles, so 6.0 miles minus 0.84. So as you may notice, we gotta move it here. Oh. Same thing as having a 0 in that spot. Okay. 4 cannot subtract into 0, 8 cannot subtract into 0, we gotta regroup. 5, 10, 9, oop, 10. There we go.